One of the hardest things in motherhood is having to navigate transitions with your kiddo. Listen, we need to go from ha-ha, kikiing and playing around to settling down for bed. I call this the bedtime battlefield. Oh my goodness, we need to go from lounging around to getting up and getting out of the house. I call that the morning mayhem. Or you know what? We were having so much fun, but oh my gosh, it's time to go because I'm tired. I call this the playground power struggle. I believe that when you learn how to navigate these transitions, parenting becomes so much easier. Your anxiety is regulated. You're no longer frustrated about things and saying we can't do that because we are not ready. They are not ready. You have a tool set in mind that helps you be prepared for those moments. So you're in luck. Come on in, Mother Hen. Let's get into it. You know what? I realized that I haven't actually introduced myself in a while, especially as I'm now doing videos on YouTube. You may be new to me. My name is Chasity. I'm a trauma therapist and have been for the past 10 plus years. I've helped clients from as young as 2 years old all the way up to 71 years old that have a common theme of childhood wounds that are now manifesting into anxiety. And so I help Christian moms heal the root of their anxiety so that they can build deeper connections with their husband and their kids. And I do this primarily through my program Legacy, through materials, support, and community. So back to these transitions. So whenever I was solely focused on helping parents with their kiddos' behaviors, I always noticed this theme of like what was coming up in their sessions and what they were saying, the things that they were complaining about and things that they were saying that caused them the most anxiety and frustration when it came to their kids. And usually it had to do with transitions. Again, stopping one thing to go to another, particularly something that the kid like. Listen, kids love to play. And anytime you have to tell them, listen, Johnny, we got to stop doing this to go do something that maybe you don't like to do, Johnny gonna say no every time. He don't want to stop playing. Playing is his life. And on the other hand, I noticed that when my mom started feeling more confident in navigating those transitions, everything changed for them. So I'm going to give you what I gave them. And it really boils down to one thing. Ready? It's the difference between reacting to your child's behavior during transitions and responding to your child's behavior during transitions. When you are under this belief that your child is doing whatever they're doing on purpose to agitate you in some type of way, they know what they're doing. They know better. Come on, we've been through this. I told you this the last time we came to this playground. We coming back? Get back in the car. We going home. When you have this assumption that your child is dragging their feet on purpose, or they have some type of ulterior motive that is hurting you or impacting you or making you feel this anxiety or anger, then your anxiety and your anger hits a skyrise. Because at the end of the day, we're humans and feelings come to us by the experiences that we have. It doesn't matter who we are having that experience with. Could be your child, could be your husband, could be, a coworker, a stranger you meet on the street. Our emotions are our emotions. Our assumptions are our assumptions. And sometimes those emotions and assumptions come from the interactions that we have with our kids, right? So they're not listening. They're not getting in the car. They're not brushing their teeth. They're not putting on their clothes fast enough. So that anxiety and anger starts to rev up inside of you. And before you know it, you're yelling or you've said all you can say and you just stop talking and you give them a stone cold wall Steve Austin. Y'all remember Steve Cold? What is it? Stone Cold Steve Austin? Whatever it is, you shut them out because you know what? You're tapped out. I'm tired. It's at the end of the day. I've said this over and over and over again. Why can't you just listen, right? So anxiety has taken over. Anger has taken over. And at that moment, you're no longer able to focus in on your child. You're only focused in on managing your anger or managing your anxiety in the best way you know how to do. And usually that's yelling or shutting down. And I'll speak candidly for a second. Anytime I have come from a place of reacting to my girls' behavior and they're not listening or they're having a hard time with these transitions, I always feel bad after the reaction. I always feel more shame. I always feel like, dang, Chasity, you ain't have to say it like that. Dang, couldn't you have been just a little bit more patient? Dang, they didn't mean it. They're still learning, right? There's always this inner dialogue that's telling me there was another way and you kind of missed it. So that's one way you can understand and kind of tune into the fact, am I reacting to my kid's behavior or am I responding? Speaking of responding is all about looking at the behavior as it is and not trying to assign anything negative about it, anything negative about your child. They know better. They are doing this on purpose. They're trying to stall bedtime or whatever. While those things might be true, is it helpful to think about your child and their behavior in that way? Likely not. Just take the behavior as it is. Okay, this is what it is. These are the solutions that I need to do to help them with this transition. And to be honest, this takes a little bit of trial and error. First of all, 80% of our behaviors are automatic, and they're automatic because they come straight from our thoughts. So if you're able to say, this is just a behavior, I don't have to assign anything else to it. Now, what is my response to that behavior? And you skip all the middle ground of the gunk of assigning particular things to what they did. You're able to have, I don't want to say calculated response, but a little bit. You're able to slow down and be a little bit more intentional. Now, you might be saying, okay, but how do I do that in the moment, in the heat, when we're standing in Target and they're yelling, I'm embarrassed, when we're trying to leave the playground and I've told them time and time again, we're going to be back, or this happened, or this happened. In the moment, I cannot slow myself down enough to respond. I just go straight to reacting. And you may not like my answer, but you just need to keep practicing. You just need to keep doing it. Sometimes our thoughts will take off and run with it. And it'll develop this pattern, attach it to our behaviors, and that's what you're stuck in until you first think and then start to do things that are in alignment with responding versus reacting. You're not going to see change right away. You have to keep practicing. You have to keep putting in that work, okay? It didn't quite work well this morning. Maybe not even tonight. We're going to try it again tomorrow. We're going to redo. And I want you to think about this. When it comes to your kids' behavior, when it comes to transitions, just this theme of feeling like, oh my goodness, something is about to happen and it's going to go wrong. And we are stuck in this cycle every day, trying to figure out how I'm going to get him into bed, how I'm going to get him in the car, how am I going to do X, Y, and Z. I want you to think about God and how patient he is with us as we're learning. There are things that God has been trying to teach me pretty much all my life, and I'm still like, oh, I'm sorry, you sure I can't go this way? And he's like, yeah, no, that's not the way. And I'm like, okay, but let me try this way. Bloop, bump my head and keep doing it again, right? God is so patient with us. He knows how to respond in a way to help us, to encourage us, to give us a new perspective, and not just shutting us out, yelling at us, right? Disconnecting from us. He is there. He is present. He is the reminder of, hey, there's an alternative perspective that I want you to take on. That door's not going to open. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not going to open. I know you're upset about it, you said, but it's not going to open, right? In that same token, as you are continuing to practice and learn things, and it doesn't go perfectly because perfection is not the goal. It never will be, it never is, and it never was. In the same way that God has grace for you in your patience with learning through transitions, learning through change, learning through the same old things that you've been walking around all this time, is the same patience that you need to exercise when it comes to your kids as they're learning to transition in their world. And think about, how has God responded to you? If he reacted to you, what would that do for you? Would it encourage you to change, to try something new? Or would it turn you off and be like, listen, I do not want to be in close proximity to somebody who's mean, to somebody who is not giving me a chance, to somebody who feels like they've already given up on me. No, we want to be connected to and in access with God because of his patience, his kindness, the essence, right, of who he is. So that's just my little encouragement to you. If you've tried some of these things and it feels like it's not working, keep working it, because as you're working it, it's working on you. If you still feel stuck, I have an entire module inside of Legacy that will help you regulate your anxiety, recognize, okay, when is it brewing up? What particular behaviors of your kids are causing you to go over the edge, maybe dabble into a little bit of that mom rage that you said over and over again, I don't want to get that way, right? I don't want to go over the edge. I want to give my kids something different. Being able to give them different starts within you, how you regulate your anxiety and your behaviors in that moment. So in Legacy, in the moment mediator will help you be able to identify that anxiety within you, regulate yourself, and also respond to your kids in a different way. This sets them up for the future because it gives them and models for them this emotional health that you want to pass on to them. You can get started by taking the quiz that will give you your anxiety archetype, and then go on to take the free training that's attached to that goes even more deeper on how to get out of the cycle of mom rage and having dysregulated anxiety so you're not reacting to your kids, you're responding to your kids. So go to the show notes, take the quiz, and get started today. All right, I'll see you in the next one.